Trust me when I say this, Greg, I can get my hands on any drug. Not once did I come across anybody with tests, SARMs, pro hormones, nothing like that. If you guys don't know who Clavicular is, he's somebody that's been blowing up in the looks maxing space for having a bunch of outrageous takes when it comes to other people's looks, his looks, and everything he does, and people think he's actually out of control. He's only 19 years old, and this guy, man, there's a lot of stuff going on with him. So I'm pretty sure Greg Doucet is going to unpack one of his interviews, so let's get straight into it. Bro, the thing about Clavicular is he is not old at all. Like, when I tell you he's like 19, 20, I don't even think he's hit his 20s yet. I think he's still a teenager. And this dude, he looks at least like 25 or so. Like, the trajectory of aging is not really on par with what he's actually trying to do to himself. By the time he's 25, he might look 35. I don't know. He looks crazy for his age.
To me, of a combination of Togi and Brian Johnson, of all people, rolled up into one, except this guy is not trying to age Max. He doesn't care about living. He cares about maximizing his looks at all costs. I don't want to spoil the entire video, but
it's like it's so weird.
He started using steroids at 14. He wants to lengthen his limbs because he's only 6'2". And he's getting titanium implant.
I seen somebody say a while ago, I was watching this video, and they said most people that are like 6'2", 6'1", 6 feet, they want to be like 6'4". They want to be like 6'6". People who are 6'2", they walk past somebody at 6'6", and they just want to be 6'6". I know for a fact, I would never in my life want to go from 6'2" to 6'6" from like a limb stretching procedure or something like that. I have never walked past somebody that was 6'6" and said, man, that guy has a great life. You can't even fit on regular beds. Me, I take up the whole entire bed from a king size bed. I could go from the end of the bed to end of the bed, and I take up the whole bed. My feet hang off a little bit, but that's all I need. Imagine being 2 inches taller. That wouldn't be okay.
Surgery in order to make him look prettier. He wears makeup, and he's a neurodivergent, which I learned has something to do with autism or something. And he's
there's definitely something wrong with him.
Dysmorphia, and that
100%
messed things up during his childhood. And that this is not the kind of guy that we should emulate. Now, he does, in fact, make exceptional points. I'm not going to lie, I went into this a little bit biased, but he expresses himself very well. It's hard to believe he's only 19 years of age. If you have a kid...
He's 19, and like what Greg just said, he's neurodivergent. You could tell there's something a little bit off with him. Like I was on TikTok one night, right before I went to bed, and I seen a video go past of Clavicular, and I just went down a little rabbit hole and seen what he was talking about. And the way he talked and the way he interacted with other people, and like how shy he would be in front of other people, like even men, not even just women, and like the stuff he would say, no eye contact, just the way he talked, like it was like very socially awkward. You could tell Clavicular is not all there in the head. I'm not saying that he's not there in it like in terms of mental capacity, but there's some type of social awkwardness going on right there.
Watching this guy's videos, I'm warning you, be careful.
Take me back to 14-year-old Braden. What was the exact moment you decided that natural puberty wasn't enough?
I thought, why would I work out as a natural, take years to make the progress that I can make in months?
This already could be an entire video. He started injecting 300 milligrams of testosterone a week at 14. He asked, where did you get this information? And I was praying he wouldn't have said from Coach Greg, and thankfully he said Derek. Why should you wait when you can get your gains sooner than last time? For being an intelligent 19-year-old, I'm surprised he couldn't answer these questions himself. At 14, you haven't even gone through puberty yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Why are you rushing puberty? Why do you want to be an adult when you're a child, a teenager? Some of the best years of your life are going to be when you're a teenager. And when
But Greg, you're saying that to somebody that wants to look a certain way and he can't achieve that because he hasn't went through puberty yet. He was at that age. He was just trying to stimulate his puberty. He was trying to make it come faster than it was going to come naturally. That's what he was trying to do at the end of the day. I understand it, man. I was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 working out. And before I started hitting puberty where there wasn't a lot of testosterone in my body, I remember being in my back building lifting weights because I had a whole entire setup in my back building. I had the setup to where I had the gymnastics rings, I had the power rack, I could deadlift, I could bench, I could do basically anything I want. I could squat, I could do all that in my back building. And I remember there was a point in time where I wasn't growing muscle up until I still remember, like, out of nowhere, my freshman year, I really started to pack on muscle. I was doing like in the 8th grade, I wasn't packing up muscle and stuff like that. But I remember one day I started growing hair on my nuts. And I looked at my legs, right? I looked at my legs and I had hair going down my legs. This was one summer, I remember that. I was in my room playing Xbox 24/7, right? And I was sweaty one day, and I rolled up my pants leg because I had sweats on, and I looked at my legs, and hair was growing on my legs. Never before did I have hair growing on my legs. And I remember a couple months after that, I started getting into working out a little bit. I went down a rabbit hole, working out. But I was barely gaining any muscle until I really started to gain testosterone. You could tell as a little boy when you starting to gain testosterone. If you start, because I went down a rabbit hole, I was looking up. There was a dude on YouTube back in the day. I'm gonna put y'all on. I'm gonna do a lot of yapping in this video, by the way. Don't mind me, but I need you guys to look at it. I think he changed his YouTube. This guy, look this guy up right here, Alpha Destiny. I'm not going to look it up right now, but look him up. I don't know if he changed his name or not, but this guy right here basically taught me how to lift. This guy back in the day, and this was like 10 years ago. This is coming up on 10 years ago. I'm 24 right now. 10 years ago. That's crazy. But I completely understand why he would take that route, but how does he have access to take that route? If I had access to, I think if any high schooler from freshman year, 14, 15, to senior year, 17, 18, 19, whatever year you graduated, whatever age you graduated, I think if you had access to do steroids, a lot of young teenagers probably would. If you had the access and means to do some stuff like that. And I'm sure that he wasn't doing anything crazy because, I mean, look at him. He still looks like, look, right here. This is a naturally attainable physique. Exactly what it, like, he nothing crazy is going on with clavicular. Nothing at all. Nothing crazy is going on right here. This is easily attainable naturally. Everything about this physique, everything. He has no crazy striations in his upper chest. His shoulders are capped a little bit, right? His tricep, he has a lot of definition, but everything is like this. You know, David Lade, when he was saying he was natural, I don't know if he still claims his natural status, but David Lade had a way better physique than this when he was in high school. I'm telling you, this is an easily attainable. I know people that were working out for a year that look like this. My friend Goo, he looked crazy 1 year into lifting.
somehow messed things up during his childhood, and that this is not fast forward.
Most traders fail because
Oh my God, man.
in 2025 you should no longer
My
be
bad.
trading.
What is going on?
To your future. Why not just enjoy the ride? Not to mention all the horrendous side effects, taking years off of your life.
They do have crazy
as
side
well
effects.
as at 14 years of age, you don't even know what you want. You might think you want to be a bodybuilder, to look smash, muscles, and so on. Couple of years later, you're thinking, no, I don't even like weightlifting. I want to do something else.
Stuff like that does
It's
change,
not
bro.
the time to
I'm telling you.
experiment with dangerous.
If you're young right now, if you're in high school and stuff like that, like weights is probably the only thing you can do on your free time. Until you get a little bit older, you start getting a little bit of money. You start looking at other means to make the time go by. And the gym really doesn't fit in that often. I mean, you might go to the gym a couple times a week, but hitting it for 2-3 hours a day, 7 days a week, actually trying to grow crazy PRs, 315 bench, 4-plate squat, 5-plate deadlift, stuff like that. That's not attainable. And it's not attainable because you can't do it. It's not attainable because you don't want to put all your time into that anymore. Because you found other passions that you're more passionate about. Me, for instance, in high school, from freshman to senior year and even past that, probably 2 years after I graduated, weights was probably the only thing that really, the only passion I had that really made me happy at that point in time. And still, I had the means to start working on my cars again. Then cars, automotive, stuff like that, that just became, that passion sparked right back up. And for anything mechanical, that passion sparked right back up, especially because the job that I worked, that I started working too. And, I left weights in the dust, man. Of course, I still hit the gym, and I'm still strong right now. And I still maintained a lot of muscle throughout the years, but I've never hit the gym as hard as I did back in the day. And that's just the way it works sometimes. That's just the way the cookie crumbles at the end of the day.
Drugs, and do it in secret.
I'm gonna get my physique going.
We're only 3 minutes into this video. My bad. I'm going to stop yapping for a little bit.
I don't care about any implications of, this guy's using drugs. Like, none of that shit really fazed me.
My opinion is this is what happens when your parents don't say no. Oh, my son is special. He's neurodivergent, and so I'm just going to give him whatever he wants whenever he wants. There's something that's very important that I was taught when I was a kid, and that is known as patience. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have to wait. You
Yeah.
don't just get whatever you want right away. I mean,
That's
if your goal
100%.
later in life is to have children, start a family. Should you start at 14? Hey, I didn't want to wait, and so I found myself a girl.
So your mom, she competed as a bodybuilder. And
That's 100%.
lifts, works out.
Parents were bodybuilders. Does anyone think that growing up in a household where the parents are maybe obsessed with their looks, their appearance, the dieting, the perhaps taking steroids, performance-enhancing drugs, that it might have been noticed by a younger individual and that they might have looked up to those parents and thought, you know what, looks really do matter. I mean,
His parents most likely, like, at 14, we got to think about this. At 14, you don't have access to stuff like that. It's not easy. It's not easy to get, like even SARMs, RAD 140, LGD 4033. What is the other one? Not the pro hormone, but the growth hormone secretagogue, the MK677. It's not that easy to get your hands on stuff like that. Especially, I mean, back in the day, yes. I'm not gonna lie. When I was 16, 17, 18, 19, getting pro hormones and SARMs was not that hard. Tests and stuff like that was hard to get, right? Especially in the tablet form. So being able to have access to SARMs and stuff like that, his parents was definitely enabling him to do it. He probably asked, hey, let me hop on this, right? He probably seen his dad doing it over and over again. In some shape or form, his parents definitely did say, all right, yeah, you can have some of this.
look at how much my mom and my dad are obsessed.
He was probably
with it.
getting
And
beat up
so
at school or something,
I
man.
wanna
People were
use
probably
steroids.
picking on him.
Where do you think he got steroids at 14? Is it possible, maybe, that he got it from their parents?
Clavicular doesn't
Some
look
people
like
found
somebody
it and
that's a
started using
terrifying
it.
individual
Do you
either.
think it's possible?
He looks like a
How did
wimp.
your parents react?
My parents would, go through my room and find steroids often confident.
Like this type of guy in high school, at least where I grew up, he would have got beat up. Multiple, especially the way he talks too. And look at his face. He just looks like somebody you want to hit.
Escape them. So that'd be a bit of a burden.
A bit of a burden. My parents, they're losers. They confiscated my testosterone. I'm 14. I know what I'm doing. I'm a full-grown adult. I'm smarter than them. Maybe not as smart as Mike Israetel with his 160 IQ, but I'm smarter than my parents, and how dare they take my drugs away from me. I mean, if your kid continues to get steroids at 14 and you're a parent, you need to do whatever you need to do to make it stop happening. I don't care if it means pulling them out of school, having a camera installed in every room
No,
of the
his
house
parents,
and saying,
Greg.
look, there ain't
Greg.
no steroids coming into the...
Greg, think about this. How does a 14-year-old get his hands on steroids? It is almost impossible. Almost impossible. When I was in high school, when I was a freshman, I could get my hands on any drug possible. Trust me when I say this, Greg, I could get my hands on any drug. Not once did I come across anybody with tests, SARMs, pro hormones, nothing like that. Trust me. There's no way that a 14-year-old is getting. And where did he grow up? Where did Clavicular grow up? Somebody put it down in the comment section. I want to say he looks like somebody from California, so I'm gonna go based off of California. There's no way he's getting pro hormones and testosterone and stuff like that. His parents was feeding it to him. They were giving it to him. 100%. I want to know the story behind it.
his house. And by the way,
I want to know how he
getting
started
blood
taking
work
them.
Done, perhaps at Algo RX, you can click the link in the description.
Oh my
get
God.
The blood work, and we are going to see.
All right,
whether it's
big dog.
from Algo RX or any other provider, I don't care, but we are.
There was
All right.
nothing that they could do about it. I was
Get that money, Greg.
do whatever it takes.
I'm not a parent. Admittedly, I am not sure exactly what I would do, but I'm sure they could have done something. Did they try? How hard did they try? I mean, if you're a parent watching this and you have a 14-year-old and they say, hey, mom and dad, you know what? I'm going to use meth and alcohol and drugs, steroids. I don't care about that, mom. I'm not going to wait. I'm Gen Z. And
That's
we
different,
get to do
bro.
what we want. We get to change into boys or
I
girls.
understand what
We
you're
can
saying,
do
Greg, but
whatever we
I
want. And so if I wanna
don't
use
at the same
drugs
time.
behind your back, I'm doing it. You can't say no. That is not how it works.
I wouldn't even say it was influenced by anyone else. It was a purely logical decision. I didn't really see people like David Layden think, oh, I want to be like this guy.
How many people think that that's true? That no one influenced
Absolutely
them
not.
to want to have a jacked physique to kind of
Absolutely
look like
not.
David Layden. It wasn't.
Anybody who got into fitness from 2015 to 2018, 2019. Anybody who got into fitness from 2015 to post-COVID era was definitely influenced by David Layden. I would even put a wager out there that 95% of people that are working out under the age of 24 years old was influenced by David Lade at some point. They wanted to look like David Lade. They wanted to lift like David Lade. They wanted to lift as much as David Lade. I guarantee that. Everybody knows who David Lade is if you are on social media and working out at that time. If you're on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, I don't care what platform, you knew exactly who David Lade was.
The fact that he perhaps had social media and was presented all these amazingly good-looking bodies.
David
But you know
Lade,
what? I
Dylan
want
McKenna,
that.
all those dudes.
How is it possible that he
The
wasn't
Jersey Juice
influenced by
gang.
that? He appears to be intelligent the way that he speaks, his knowledge, but yet it's almost like he's lying to himself. Clavicular. How can you not see that you are influenced to do these things, that you are a product of your environment? Whether it's your parents, your friends and family, or swiping on your phone, how can you possibly think that you aren't influenced to take steroids to develop a better physique because of your environment?
You know, if this makes sense mechanistically, then I'm going to do it. Like, I'm a hyper logical guy, and I don't really get influenced by other people.
Wasn't influenced by anyone. Why did you want muscles in the first place? You must have seen somewhere that people with bigger muscles,
Exactly.
better bodies, taller, better looking, that they have an easier time in life, which of course is true. But just because that's true doesn't mean you alter your genetics, that you start abusing steroids at 14 in order to grow faster.
And I knew that the measures would be extreme, but I was like, well, this is kind of what it takes, and I
At
was
14, he was
going
not
to
thinking
do
about
whatever
that.
it takes.
Whatever.
He's playing a character right now. That's what Clavicular is playing. He is. He's playing a character. He needs to play that character because he already put that character out there. So he's going to continue playing it, and he's going to make the most out of it. Clavicular was 100% influenced by everybody on social media at that point. He was influenced by the people that were bigger than him at the age of 14. He was influenced by he could play this character, this neurodivergent dude, which he probably is. He most likely is. I could tell that something is up with Clavicular in the head. But when we're actually talking about him being influenced by certain areas, every 14-year-old, every person that grew up in the early 2000s, late 2000s, 2010s was influenced by somebody to get bigger, especially if you're in the bodybuilding or working out community. Simple as that.
Does that not bear
Whether you watch an Avengers movie and you want it to look like Thor, that's a perfect example. Perfect example. If you were watching the Avengers movies, if you were watching the Batman movies, if you seen Christian Bale when he was suiting up to play Batman, anything like that, there is no kid on planet Earth that is my age, right? I'm 24. Clavicular is 19. He's not that much younger. He definitely watched an Avengers movie, and to say he didn't want to look like Thor is blasphemy. Blasphemy. Clavicular is a white dude. He wanted to put muscle on. He was definitely looking at different whether it might not have been Rich Piana. Not a lot of people want to look like Rich Piana, all right? Not a lot of people want to look like this. This guy was a factory freak. But there were certain individuals that definitely did influence Clavicular to be the person that he is right now.
Whatever it takes. But no, I wasn't influenced by anybody.
These people, these Looksmax creators, we're all genetically gifted. They don't really understand, how it is to grow up not exactly good looking.
These other Looksmaxers, they were all blessed by being attractive. Me, I'm ugly. I mean, look what I have to work with.
Oh my God,
Thought
dude.
we were gonna see the world.
Oh my God, dude. Oh, it is this guy. This guy, man. What's up with this guy? He's everywhere. Why am I watching this?
I'm only 6'2" and I look like freaking Superman. Does this guy not look like a slimmer, less body fat version of Henry Cavill? But
He looks like the
have
new
an
Superman.
uphill battle. Look, bro, sitting in this chair, he's 5'6". Now, granted, I am 6'5" when I'm sitting on my wallet, but on a normal day-to-day basis, I'm 5'6".
This guy says
yeah,
6'5" when he's
famous
sitting on his
rapper,
wallet.
but I had to work for those things.
It never made me insecure. I never really had my life altered in any way. I just knew that something needed to change.
The fact that he's 6'2" alone,
Then
it
you were
almost doesn't
inspired
even
by
matter anything
something.
else. If you're
What
6'2",
what he just said right now is a contradiction to what he said before. Just think about that. Think about what he said just now and think about what he said before. It's a contradiction, plain contradiction in broad daylight.
and you're not fat, you're above average looking.
I'm so glad that I look a little bit more mature, than I actually am in terms of my age.
What's like the scientific reason that you look older?
He looks older because he took steroids. It affected the androgen
100%.
receptors, and he's aged. A lot of people say when you take testosterone and so on,
When you take any type of anything that influences that attaches to androgen receptors, that feeds on testosterone and stuff, that puts more testosterone in your body, you start to grow more facial hair. You start to look a little bit older. You start to get a little bit wrinkly. You start to go a little bit bald and stuff like that. There's certain things that happen once you start, like you will naturally, like even if you're off of tests and stuff like that, you'll naturally have broader shoulders. It's just the way it works when you start taking substances like that. Your whole that's why they say once you go enhance, you're never going to be able to get that natural status back, because it completely changes your physiology a lot. And it's crazy. You won't notice it until you actually start digging and figure out how you looked before you started taking it versus after you started taking it. It's a crazy rabbit hole you could go down, for real.
can make you look older. So let me get this straight. When you're younger, you want to look older, but then when you're older, you want to look younger. It takes your entire life to learn the things that you wish you knew when you were younger. If I could go back and make changes, I absolutely would. He's
100%.
19. When he's 50, if he makes it to 50, he's going to look back on this and say, I shouldn't have taken steroids at 14. This was stupid. This was moronic. What was I thinking? But he doesn't yet have the wisdom. He's a Gen Z teenager. He's done this. He likely has rarely hung out with friends. And so he doesn't even know what he actually wants.
I've also used things like HGH, so just all these different growth pathways being elevated led to, you know, me looking a little bit older.
How has bro even afforded to get all these drugs?
His parents, bro.
Hormone, testosterone, masterone,
His parents. His
orals,
parents gave him all of
aromatase
that.
Inhibitors, meth, Adderall, the list goes on and on.
Do you value hard work at all?
No, absolutely not. I value efficient work. I value smart work. Hard work is a ridiculous concept.
Does it not remind you a little bit of Togi?
Do you enjoy it? Like when we're training right now, do you feel like I'm looking forward to this, or it's just more of like let's get this workout done so I'm one day closer?
Right now, I am not having fun.
But yet he's made it, and so his influences, other young kids are gonna see Togi.
I like that point a lot. I do. I could agree with Clavicular on that. I really can. I feel like the whole concept behind hard work, putting in hard labor, is I feel like that's an old man's tale. That's an old man's trait that needs to get thrown in the trash can and set on fire, right? I think once you start working more efficient, I think that's when stuff starts to get done, right? And this you could do a test with this type of stuff. Go to work and start figuring out how to do stuff more efficient. Right? Look at what is the hardest thing you have to do during the workday, and try to tackle that thing in the most efficient way possible. And then keep on doing that with a whole bunch of different other stuff. Just keep on going. Just keep on doing it. Keep on tackling out hard tasks over and over again in an efficient way to where it's no longer hard. It's a simple task. You just have to put a little bit more steps into it. If you guys get what I'm saying, go out and do that. It makes life a lot easier when you start working on efficiency. Not a lot of stuff in this world is efficient. That's why they have things like, what is the Sigma belts, like the yellow belt, the green belt, the black belt. That's why you get paid more when you have a green belt. That's why you get paid more when you have a black belt. The whole world is ran off of efficiency. And if you can make tasks more efficient, meaning you can make stuff more efficient in terms of money, cost, manpower, man hours. I'm telling you, the life goes. That's why go look up the Sigma belts. I don't know the lean. What is it? Lean Six Sigma. I don't know what it's called. It's something weird. Look up the Sigma belts. And once you start going down that little rabbit hole, you'll realize that the world is starting to run off of efficiency.
And say, I also want to take steroids. I also want to gamble. I want to be a famous social media influencer. I see a lot of similarities between this guy and Togi. And isn't it strange, or is it a coincidence? They're all tall. Togi about 6'3", this guy about 6'2". Maybe it has an effect.
I think people value hard work because you learn a lot on your journey.
I mean, why work hard when you can just get it like that? Why train for 5 or 10 years to get the physique what you want when you can just abuse steroids and get it in 5 months? I'll tell
Get it
you
like
why,
that.
and this may seem cliche,
But
it's all about the journey rather than the destination.
that is right. That is true.
Age, and I know what it's all about. The fun is in the journey, making the gains, going to the gym, looking in the mirror and seeing yourself improve. Whether it's your times in your run or your bike ride, your swim, getting better at your sport, your instrument.
Life is about
whatever.
improvement.
It's not about just getting there. It's about the fun you had in the process.
Mm-hmm.
When you apply yourself and you work hard, the dopamine released when you do get that goal, perhaps you win that race. You win that bodybuilding show, or you finally hit 225 on the bench press. That is an amazing feeling and makes you want more. And so dopamine that you have to work hard for, that's the kind of dopamine that you want. The dopamine you can get very easily.
And I feel like what he just said goes into another topic too, with the topic of like, once somebody has everything in the world, they no longer are happy. Because what other thing what can they achieve that is going to bring them that dopamine? Like when you're broke, like think about when you're broke, right? Think about when you're broke. A lot of you guys are broke. in a sense, I'm broke too because I'm not where I want to be in life. But think about as you're chasing a goal, right? Think about a game. You're in a game. Let's say you're playing Call of Duty. When you first get into that game, day one, you're rank number one, no prestige, nothing like that. You have all this stuff you gotta unlock. You gotta get your first diamond pistol. You gotta get your first gold pistol. You gotta get your first gold rocket launcher. Once you have all that stuff, diamond, gold, whatever camos they have now, the game is no longer fun. You have nothing to chase. So guess what you do? You reset. You do it all over again. But this time, you're still not having as much fun because it's not your first time doing it anymore. I think a lot of people lack that dopamine. They don't wanna go out. They don't wanna achieve. That's why you hear about a lot of people that have all this stuff. They're depressed because they can't release that dopamine. They don't know what else to accomplish. It's a crazy set of circumstances when you think about it.
Now that is very dangerous. This includes sniffing, creatine, using recreational drugs, and so on. Those things you need to be careful. If he can quickly get a surgery and immediately he looks better, he's not going to want to put in the work. Why would I bother doing things that take months in order to improve when I can do it right now? This results in a person.
I've noticed a lot of people now, and me myself, they want it now. There's a lot of things that oh, my bad. But there's a lot of things right now that I want in the time in right now that I don't want to put the work in for. So I start finding shortcuts, and then I realize those shortcuts shouldn't have been what I did. Like let's go back to the Call of Duty analogy. You want a gold gun so bad, you were having so much fun. You were rage quitting. You were doing all this. You would get a headshot, right? You would get that headshot when you're doing the assault class, right? And you would get a dopamine rush when you got 2 headshots in a row. You no longer feel that because now you're in the lobby boosting off of your friend. It's the same concept, man. I'm telling you.
Doesn't value hard work. And so that is going to hurt you down the line.
I personally hate going to the gym now. I find it, kind of shitty to start the day. Have to go to the gym. I think of it as a chore.
Have to go to the gym. Do you know how much that hurt me? I was talking to my sister about this the other day. How people don't appreciate the fact that they get to go to the gym. My sister with stage 4 cancer on chemotherapy, she's thankful that she can still train. Imagine how hard it is for her to do that. She feels sick, she's throwing up, she's in pain, but yet she's still happy that she gets to go and work out. She gets to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Yet guys like Clavicular, I hate it, I have to go work out. Imagine telling that to someone with stage 4 cancer.
Like if there was a pill you could take that would make you as smart as possible, already learn everything, be as jacked as possible, look perfect. Like, would you take that?
Absolutely.
Where's the trick question here? Of course I would. The problem is that pill has side effects. What he's taking,
like everything has side effects.
They don't come with no consequences.
Everything in this world has a side effect. I want you guys to go to Walmart right now and look up the Budak noodles or whatever. And look on the label where it says reproductive harm, carcinogenics and stuff like that. Those are some good noodles. They really are. Those are some good noodles. But they have crazy side effects to them, man. Just like everything else in this world. Everything has a side effect. But you gotta find a way to weigh those side effects. Do you really want this to happen, or do you want this to happen? Do you want this to happen, or do you want this to happen? You gotta find a way to judge for yourself, man. I feel like that's what life is all about.
One of which, it's shortening his time here on this earth. Why not preface the section with, would you take a pill?
You eating the Budak noodles is shortening your time on the earth.
It's taking 20 years off of your life. Now, when you're young, 14, 17, 19, whatever, you're going to see
you using a plastic cutting board. It's shortening your time on this earth. Microplastics.
When you're young, you think you have your entire life, which technically.
It's crazy, ain't it?
But that entire life gets shorter as you get older.
Because I'm trying to optimize every single metric of my life. I'm not only interested in fitness, right?
Notice that his journey is almost over. He's nearly optimized. And so, what are you going to do then? Remember, I previously just stated it's all about the journey rather than the destination. When you're natural, that journey is a lot longer.
Once he's at that destination, he's no longer going to have anything to do. Clavicular is going to be highly depressed. He's neurodivergent, as we just said. Those people get extremely depressed when they have nothing going on. He's going to be extremely depressed. And once we see him at that state, right, where he's saying, once we start seeing him say, oh, I'm at that level where I want to be, right? Once he's done, once he's at that peak, we're going to see a noticeable drop off on how much content he's going to be making, stuff like that. And then there's going to be a video of him talking exactly how most other people say where they're no longer happy with what they've been doing. It's a repetitive cycle, and there's always going to be somebody like this on the internet. Over and over again, we're going to get this same type of person on the internet. It's not going to be any different. Clavicular is just the next line of somebody. Before it was the dude, I can't think of his name. Ziz? Somebody like that? I think he passed away. But there's always going to be somebody like this on the internet. Really, there always is. Until they take the step too far, or until they figure out that this is too much, it's always going to be the same, dude. It's never going to end. There's always going to be somebody that thinks they're different in a certain kind of way. But they're not. They're just like the guy before them.
Longer. When you're on steroids, you're going to get your final physique, final form a lot sooner. And then what? What are you going to do?
You're going to be
once
just
you
like
have
Frieza.
dominating
You want to hit
muscle?
Black Frieza,
Once
then
you
Golden
have to
Frieza.
come off.
Or do you prioritize health?
I would say no. I would say that functionality is a better word than health.
I mean, is
Frieza
this
was
guy
strong in
Mike
his base
Israetel,
form.
like, how can he not care about his
He
health?
had 5 other
Actually,
ones.
That's a good comparison. Mike Israetel had surgery to remove 20 pounds of body water, which he didn't have. And this guy is getting facial reconstruction surgery, getting a double mandibular implant, a nose job, all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what he's getting technically. And for what? Does he not already look good enough?
So you don't care about maximizing your lifespan as much as your day-to-day.
Yeah, I'm not a huge longevity guy.
Not a huge longevity guy.
He's
And so
19, man.
Brian
Of course he's gonna
Johnson
talk
would
like
be
that.
Rolling over his grave, but Brian Johnson.
Oh, this guy, the vampire.
And so he must be thinking, how can I fix this guy? What
Oh,
is
look at him.
going On 2025, you've heard it here first.
Why are you spending $100,000 on surgery to go from 6'2" to 6'6"?
Discover
Oh my
Natural
God.
Hills, a new master plan community in the hills of Santa Clarita, offering
I've always valued presence super, super highly, right? You walk into a room, people notice, right?
Tell me you're not insecure when you're already 6'2" and look like freaking Superman, but now you need to be 6'6" so that everyone notices you, that your presence is felt by everyone. Why is he so insecure that he needs all these things? Remember, it's not just that he wants it, that it would be cool if it was true. We can all play make-believe. Sometimes I wish I was 6'5" when I wasn't sitting on my wallet. But I'm not going to cut my legs and go through 1 year of torture in order to be taller. Limb lengthening surgery, really, when you're 6'2"? I mean, I've heard of wearing foot inserts, perhaps make you a couple of inches taller, but this is absurd.
Because people will come up to me, they'll say, "Oh, well, 6'2", you know, that's already very tall." But in terms of percentiles, it's only 91st percentile, right? 6'6", we get to 99.
You're already at the 95th percentile, but that isn't enough. Newsflash, 6'6" is not hotter than 6'2". Unless you're a volleyball player, perhaps a basketball player, you don't need to be 6'6" to be attractive. There's such a thing as too much of a good thing.
There is.
If you're too
100%.
tall, it can actually hurt your chance with the ladies. Women love a man who's 6'2", perhaps 6'3", maybe even 6'4". But when you keep getting taller, there's less.
You just
people
look
that actually
crazy.
want that. I mean, if you were
Bro, there's people that just look crazy, man. Once you start getting that tall, you look crazy, honestly. But this video is already wrapping up to be 40 minutes long, so What do you guys think about this whole situation with Clavicular? Do you guys think that you think that he's in the right with this? He's only 19 years old, man. So we'll see what happens with him in a couple years. By the time he's 24, 25, we're gonna see. I want to see how he's talking at my age, honestly. But with all that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think down below. This is crazy. I'll talk to you beautiful people later. Y'all have a beautiful day. Bye.